practice is pretty simple in the sense that what I'd like for you to maybe consider is how much of a refuge your practice is. So I know that here you are coming online to have some guidance through a yoga practice. But what happens in the times when you just kind of get on your mat on the floor and don't have an agenda and don't have an expectation and just to allow your practice to move through you? And that's not what we're going to do today. Obviously, I'm here to guide you, but sometime I would really recommend trying to develop some time where you don't have an agenda on your mat. With being without expectations, sometimes allows you to have this really beautiful state of awareness arising moment by moment. And if you can really suspend judgment on anything, there's this deep capacity to feel what you're experiencing in any moment. So I think this is one of the gifts of our asana practice, even when we are being guided, is that it's an opportunity to just be. And in this way, our practice can be a refuge for us, along with many other ways that our practice becomes refuge. But if you have no expectations, you can just unfold as the moment unfolds. So today will be, just a regular practice, But I want you to have this sense that you can be aware in the moment by moment experience of what you're feeling. Try to cultivate that in your practice as much as you can. So we get really good at present moment awareness. All right, so sit up straight and tall and come into a comfortable seat. So whatever that means to you, you could be standing, you could be lying down. You don't have to be sitting, but if you are, let's come be here now. In this beautiful state of presence. Sometimes it takes a moment to get there. Our minds are racing, our bodies are racing. We could be in this, sympathetic drive of go, go, go. We need to just let ourselves take the time to stop a bit, surrender, and come into the feeling of your breath. What does it feel like to notice the breath as it rises, as the inhale comes? And what does it feel like to have the exhale? What kind of change in body shape, in sensation, in mind shape happens as you inhale and as you exhale? Soften your face, let your eyes relax. What are you noticing? So just what are you noticing? Is the breath easy to come by? Not so much. Is the body comfortable or not so much? Is it very easy to drop into the presence of now, or is it difficult? All right, let's place the hands together at the heart. Bow in for an intention for your practice. And then release and melt the hands. Let's come onto our back. Okay, so start to feel your body in a different orientation to gravity. Lying down, sitting up, standing up, moving around. There's so many variables that we can place with gravity and place ourselves with gravity. So just find what pulls out, what spills, what becomes more open as you become horizontal and on your back. And then if it feels good, stretch your arms overhead and feel some deep length. So maybe extend a bit more through the right, extend a little bit more through the left. Enjoy the opening in the body. All right, and then bring your hands down by your sides. Pick up your feet, put them flat on the ground, knees up. Okay, and legs can be a little wider than hips or in line with hips. And let's just go side to side here. Just moving the back and the pelvis and the hips a little bit. Feel free to add the arms to this equation. So as knees go left, maybe stretch your right arm and turn your head. You can hang out there for a moment and then go to the other side. Just let your arms get really wide. All right, and then relax your knees up and bring them toward your chest and rock a little bit. So knees in, just sway. Notice your spine, notice your back body. All right, and then circle the knees. And circle in the other direction. Then grab your strap, if you have one, and we're going to wrap the feet in the strap and stretch your legs straight up in the air. So 2 legs up. This is a fairly big hamstring stretch right away. So let your knees bend as much as you want. First, focus on the alignment of your spine. So reaching a long, long spine. And then we're going to keep the right foot in there. Keep the knee bent. Right knee is bent. And stretch the left leg long on the floor. So hold the foot down with the strap so that you're really bending deeply into that right knee. Extend the spine. Feel the compression, the pressure on the hip joints. And then reach that leg straight up in the air. And now let's just do a little bit of movement. So you decide where you want to breathe, but we're going to bend the knee close to the ribs and then straighten the leg up in the air. A couple, 3 times. All right, and then let's go ahead and leave that foot up there. Move your hip away from your shoulder. Move the shoulders away from the ears and feel the long spine. Now let's start to flex and point the toe while we're here. So we're still hooked into that strap. Toes point up and then flex toward your face. Just going back and forth a bit. All right, then let's bring 2 feet back into the strap again and switch sides. So right foot comes on the floor, and you can either have your right leg down or your right foot down, so whatever is comfortable for you. Bend the left knee to begin here, so you feel some good compression in the hip. Just enjoy that for a moment. And then we're going to straighten the leg and then bend the leg. So just kind of going back and forth between some compression in the hip, and then as you lift the leg up, move the hip away from the shoulder. And then eventually we're going to hang out with our legs straight up in the air. Move the left hip away from the shoulder loop, move the shoulders away from the ears. Feel that your spine can grow in length and space. And then as you're ready, you can flex and point the toes in the air. And 2 feet back into the strap. Both legs are extending now. Reach the feet up, drop the hips down, long, long spine. Holding the strap, but we're very soft in the shoulders. All right, release the strap just for a moment. We're going to come back to it, but come into happy baby. Either hold behind your knees or hold your feet and just begin to rock a little bit here and there, side to side. How's your breath? Inhale to starfish, open your body now. Stretch your limbs, wiggle your fingers and toes, maybe roll your wrists and ankles in some circles, maybe open and close your fists, whatever feels good. And then exhale, knees in, chest up, chin up. Inhale, expand out. Exhale, draw it in. One more time. Feel the reaching. Feel the compression. And then relax your feet down onto the ground. Coming back to the strap. So this time your right foot's in the strap. Your left foot, remember, can either be on the ground or your left leg can be on the ground. So you decide. Find the length of the spine. Reach the foot up in the air. Relax the shoulders. You want to have enough on the strap where your shoulders are very soft. You're not lifting high toward your foot. We're going to open the leg up to the right. So feel the extension. Stretch that right leg out to the side. If your left knee is bent, you can cantilever and let your left knee kind of fall out to the left. If your left leg is straight on the floor, move into the earth. Find the grounding to stabilize your body here. All right, and then when you're ready, lift that leg straight up in the air. Cross the strap to the other hand, to the left hand. The right hip is still moving away from the right shoulder, and stretch that foot out into space. So spread the toes. Feel the twist, and it's a really good hip stretch before it's a spine stretch. So find that first. And then if you want to, move into more of a spinal twist, that's totally fine. Just go where your body wants to be. Soften your shoulders. Now, when we spend a little bit more time on the floor before getting up, do you like that? Is it something that works well for your body? Or are you antsy, ready to get going into some standing poses? Okay, switch sides. Let the left foot lift up in the air. Drop the left hip down into the earth. So the leg is straighter. It doesn't have to be, all the way straight. You can have a little bend in there, whatever feels good. Check in with your right leg. Where do you want your foot? And as we're ready, we're going to open the left leg out to the straps, or out to the left. The strap is in the left hand. Anchor down through the right side of the body so we're grounded. You don't have to push really hard, but have that sense of yielding and grounding with the right side of the body. Relax the base of your skull. Notice where tension is creeping that it doesn't have to be. Check in with your breath. And then lift that leg straight up in the air. We're going to take the strap over to the other side. Cross the left leg over to the right. Left hip is away from your left shoulder. Find your breath. So what's collapsing? Can you stretch into your foot? Can you move your hip away from your shoulder? Be very active in the stretch. And then lift that leg straight back up in the air. Strap off 2 knees into the chest and rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. One last thing we'll do before we climb up onto all fours. Cross your right thigh over your left thigh and draw the knees into the chest. Just enjoy a little bit of a hip stretch, extending the spine, breathing well, relax your shoulders. Okay, and open up to a starfish, spread your arms and legs. And then let's come to the other side. So left thigh over right, draw the knees in. Find your breath. Shoulders soft, drop them down. Head is relaxed, drop it down. All right. Relax the legs. Starfish your body open. Exhale, knees into the chest. Pick your head up and then come rolling over to your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. All right, so as we find all fours, You find the beginning of movement of your spine now. So we've been horizontal for a while. See what it feels like to change your position, to start moving in a different way. So arching and rounding the spine, taking your time to notice now how your vertebrae wants to move. So awareness arising. What's here in this moment? There's no requirements. There's only presence. There's no expectations, nowhere to go other than to just be here. All right, so move the spine any way that feels really good. So we're trying to awaken our body and bring it into awareness. So is there any part of you that's not online yet, that you haven't kind of touched in with awareness? And then stretch back towards child's pose, deep compression in the hip joints and in the knees. Walk the hands out in front of you. Relax your head. Soften into the breath. And then let's feel as we move onto all fours and back against child's pose. We're going to do this in a couple of different ways. First, come onto all fours. Arch your back, tailbone lifts, sit bones high, and then rock back towards child's pose. You might feel that there's a lot of compression in the hips, but your back might have some freedom. And then come back up and round the spine just a little bit. Tuck the tail under just a little bit, and then come back towards child's pose here. And you might find more space in your hip joints, but there might be a lot of pressure in your back. So just notice. Let's do each time once more. So come back up, sit bones high and wide. Come back, feel the compression in the hips, the ease in your spine. This is a more neutral place to be for your spine. So if you have vertebral issues, this is the healthier variation for you. Then come back up, posterior tilt of the spine, round a bend, and come back. And now if you want a lot of stretch in those muscles in the back, this can feel nice. You just want to be very mindful that your back is in a good, healthy place to support this. Come back up onto all fours and shake that out. So move your hips, move your shoulders, find any freedom that you need. Let's find a twist. Arm lifting up to the sky. Exhale and slide that shoulder down. Gaze toward the floor. Let your neck be soft. Breathe into the shoulders. All right, and then as we come out of this, come halfway out of it. So stretch back to an anterior tilted child's pose. So the sit bones high and wide. Stretch back. Let your arms stay underneath you and stretch the outside of the shoulder capsule. Only go as far as your body enjoys. All right, and then inhale. Reach that arm all the way back up to the sky and change sides. Arm up. Exhale, slide that arm underneath. Okay, so threading the needle, enjoy this. See what it feels like to have that sense of space across the back body. How's your breath? Awareness arising, this moment. What's here? What's in this pose? And then as you're ready to come out, rock back towards child's pose. Bring the arm a little bit further underneath you and find the stretch in the outside of the shoulder. All right. And reach that arm all the way up to the sky. Place the hand down onto the ground and find your first dog pose of the day, perhaps. Maybe you've already done some dog poses. Whatever you have been doing today, let's find dog pose now. Okay. So ground your hands, curl the toes under, lengthen up and back. And then we've already done a lot of awakening in the legs. So just see if you can notice that. Are they a little bit more available for this pose? Feel free to bend one knee and stretch the other heel, getting the Achilles to wake up and loosen a little bit. And find your hands and your feet grounding. Sink in, yield, then rebound. Push off your hands and feet to extend through the spine. What is this pose offering you today, right now? What's available? How's your breath? Can you melt your head? And then walk your feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Fold in half. Shake your hips. Okay. Find that sense of freedom through your spine. Then a halfway lift. Maybe you have hands on legs or blocks. Then exhale and melt back down. Spread out the bones of your feet. Bend your knees as much as you need. Lift the sit bones. Halfway lift. Straighten the legs. Spine gets longer. Sit bones high. And exhale and melt again. Bend your knees, drop your hips down, rise up, bring the arms to the sky as you're ready, open yourself up. Cactus, open the arms, let the chest broaden, and then release the arms down at your sides. Shake out your hands. We're gonna just do some big rolls with the shoulders here, so big open breath, and maybe your arms wanna come out to the sides. Maybe when you do this, you'd rather cactus the arms. So just kind of find the movement that works for your shoulders. Waken yourself up. Big open chest. And then bring your arms out. Open the heart. Relax your neck. Press your palms toward the walls next to you. Drop the shoulders down. Spread out your fingers. And then release the arms and shake them out. Take your feet a little wider than your hips if you want, or hip width apart, and we're just going to swing. So hopefully your body's warm enough for this. When you do something like this, you can bend the knees and push off. So, this can be very satisfying for the spine. You can have your legs straight the whole time. Your arms can be very flumpy at your sides. Your arms can reach high. You can try all different experiments. Just loosening up the twisting in your body, just allowing your spine to have some freedom so the core is a little engaged, supporting this. All right, and then rock into one foot and reach up, and then rock into the other foot and reach up. And we're going to come into balance now. So rock into the right foot, left foot comes up off the floor, arms can reach high, and then back down. Other side. Arms can reach high. We're going to stay this next one a little bit longer. Reach and extend. Find the fullness of your body in space. Soften the knee you're standing on. Engage your leg muscles. Engage your core. And then relax. Bend the knee over to the other side. Your arms do not have to be up. They can be anywhere they want to be. So the outer hips are working hard. Feel the stabilization. Use your core. Soften the knee you're standing on. Open the chest. And then release that foot down. 2 feet. Enjoy 2 feet. Rise up. Open chest. Exhale. And flow forward. Bend your knees a lot. Inhale for a halfway lift. Maybe you're using blocks. Exhale and melt back down. Step the left foot back. Right foot's coming forward. Extending through the spine. Let's start to move. Straighten the leg a bit. Bend the leg a little bit. Okay, so just going back and forth. Using your breath. Awareness in this moment. What's arising here? Ground through your feet, steady yourself, rise up, put your arms anywhere that serves. Okay, so for some days that might be up here, for some days that might be out here, for some days that might be down here. Maybe you're holding your heart. Feel the extension through your spine no matter what you're doing. We're going to find our way into a nice open twist. Move the shoulders down. Hands can be on your hips if you want them to be. Open up the spine, reach through your crown, stay in your lunge. Okay, reach the arms up, 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 and then reach the hands down. Step back to dog pose. Extending through the spine, so second time around to a posture. What does it feel like? How is it different? Obviously, you've done something with one leg and not the other. Come forward into a plank. Hold yourself steady. Grounding here. Stabilize through your core. Finding your breath. What's finding strength? Can you hug your hands toward each other? Can you use your core? Can you use the back of your body? How about your legs? Are they engaged? Can you hug an imaginary block? And then find the floor safely. So I always put my knees down first, but maybe you don't. Just do what you do. Roll the shoulders a few times. Just feel that mobility. And then as you're ready, rise up to a cobra. Open the chest. Enjoy. Hang out here. Keep breathing. Enjoy the space in your spine, the front of your spine. And then exhale and melt to come back. Come on to all fours. Move the spine around any way that feels good. And then play with those anterior and posterior tilts of the pelvis as you come into child's pose. Which do you want? Find the one that feels most comfortable for you. Okay, and let's come up on tall. The hands and knees, bring your left foot forward, lift your back knee up off the ground. Finding a lunge on this side. Open the chest. Let's go back and forth here a bit. Tuck the chin toward the chest if you want. As you straighten the leg, find that full back body stretch. Stretching the sciatic nerve. This is a really good nerve glide for that nerve. Does it feel good to be in your body? What's arising? All right, so ground, root into your legs. Rise up and decide where you want your arms to be today. So steady yourself, root down, rise up. Find the way that you move into space, that you can go down and you can go up. You can have this yielding and the spaciousness. When you're ready, let's twist to the side so hands can stay on your hips or hands can come out, whatever feels nice. Stay in your lunge. Press through your front foot. Activate your glutes. Feel the spine lift. Have your breath. Okay, lift up through your arms. Bring your hands down onto the blocks. Back foot comes forward. Fold in half. Relax. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Turn sideways on your mat and take some nice wide legs. Okay, so bend your knees for just a moment. Turn your toes out, kind of go back and forth with weighting into one leg, weighting into the other leg, just loosening some things up. And then turn your feet straight, lift your hips and decide where you want your upper body to be. So some people can reach the floor pretty easily. Some people prefer to put their hands on blocks. So whichever feels good. We're just stretching the inner thighs, the innermost hamstrings as well. Find the breath. We're going to drop some weight into our right knee, right foot. And we're going to come back up and drop some weight to the other side. One more time. Moving over to the right. Moving over to the left. And then find center and come up to rise. Turn your feet toes out a little bit and start to come down. So you can kind of play with how far you're going to go in a goddess pose. Hopefully we've warmed up your legs a fair amount today so that you feel pretty comfortable. And once again, you can kind of slide and put weight into one foot and weight into the other foot to kind of sneak your way into this posture so that your hips have some time to ease into the pose. And you can be pretty high in here, so you don't have to be super low to have some goodness going on in this posture. Take a breath, put your arms wherever you want them to be. They can be up, they can be out, they can be hands to your heart, ground into 2 feet. Spin your toes out, bring your heels and try to rub them on the floor forward so you have that isometrics of working with the outer hip muscles. Find your breath. Okay, we're going to tip down into the right side. Reach the left arm up and over. Big side stretch. And then come the other way. So you could have your hand on your leg. You can have your elbow on your leg, wherever you go. Stretch into the side. And then come back up. Straighten the legs for a moment. Arms coming up. Exhale. Coming back down. Climb up. Now notice if you lean into one leg as you come down, as we're going to keep moving here up and down. But as you come down, do you tend to lean into one leg more than the other? Do you have some extra stability on one side that's a little missing? So if you find that, let's go ahead and straighten your legs for a moment. And when we come down a little slower now, see if you can give into the side that's a little bit more vulnerable. Let it be the leader. Usually when you have a side, like a knee or a foot or whatever, that's not so happy, it's the follower. It's like, no, I'll let the other leg be in charge. Let it be a leader, even if you don't go very far. Let it be a leader. Find your breath. Okay, and then straighten up your legs. Spin back to the front of your mat for dog pose. Okay, extending through the spine. Reaching and lengthening. Every time you come to a new pose, notice the new sensations. Every pose offers something a little different to your mind, to your breath, to your body. Come forward into a plank as you're ready. Hold yourself steady. Come down however you like to get there safely. Take a deep breath, cobra pose again. Open the belly, open the spine. Exhale and melt back down. Decide which child's pose you like best. And if it's a lot to go right from a back bend to child's pose. So that's usually, I have you kind of hanging out in the middle for a little bit, either with a cat-cow or swaying your hips around. So feel free to do that before coming into child's pose. Let your hips and knees compress no matter what angle you're choosing to take with your pelvis, whatever feels comfortable for your body. Enjoy the compression in your legs. This is good after the strength we just held for a bit in goddess pose. Okay, and then as you're ready, come up to dog pose again. Long spine. Okay, let's lift the right leg up in the air and stack open that right leg. Maybe bend the knee, maybe straighten the leg. Just let the hip flexors extend. Try not to collapse so much in the left side. Lift into the left femur bone, high left shoulder. And then square things up, change sides. Other leg lifting, stack open the hip. Maybe your knee bends. Maybe you prefer your leg to be straight. Whichever feels good. Keep the right underbelly lifting high. Find your breath. Okay, great. And then place your 2 feet down onto the ground. Bend your knees a fair amount. Lift your sit bones high. And then walk your feet forward. Bend your knees a lot. Let your back relax. Inhale for a halfway lift. And relax back down. Drop the hips and come up to stand. So find Tadasana for a moment. We're going to do a little bit of balance work. So just feel into the ground. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Drop some weight into your right foot. And we're just going to pick up our left knee. You can hold on to it if you want and have a high compression, or you can just have your knee at your hip height. So find the way. Now, if you're grabbing on, the tendency is to lean back. Prevent yourself from leaning back. Instead, take your standing thigh bone back. And just get used to balancing. Spread open the feet. And then place that other foot down onto the ground. And we're going to switch sides. So ground through the left. Decide whether you're going to pick up your knee and hold on to it, or if you're going to let your knee be in space. If you're holding on, be very mindful. It's so easy to slam the knee back and push the hip forward and lean back and kind of lock onto the sacrum. See what you can do to soften all of that. Soft knee, head of the femur bone back. Feel the spine grow. And then relax and melt that foot down onto the ground. We're going to do this without balance first, and then we're going to do it with balance. So you need a wall or a piece of furniture. I'm going to use this table, but you could use a wall or a couch or a chair or whatever you want. We're going to stand on our right foot and pick up the left foot and put it against the wall or on a piece of furniture or whatever you have in your house to support you. Now make sure that your leg is right underneath your spine so that you're not pushed forward like this, where your hip is forward of your ankle. You want to keep everything lined up. Feel the spine reach, maybe lift the arms to the sky. Find your breath. Okay, and then we're going to add a twist here. So turning to the left. Right thigh bone back. You can have your hands on your hips. And come back to center and take that foot down. Okay, so if you have your foot on a wall, there's no rules that you have to have your foot in line with your hip. You might have it so that your leg is lower, significantly lower. So find the pathway that's right for your body and, play around with where you are in your house so that you have a good height if you're resting your foot on something. So now we're going to stand on our left foot. Our right foot is up in the air. Have the stacking of your body so that you're aligned well. Feel the head of that left thigh bone move back instead of pushing it forward. See what it feels like to soften the knee you're standing on. Root through your foot to rise up through your crown. Maybe the arms come up in the air. This is a lot of work. And maybe you can start twisting open to the side. You can always keep your hands on your hips. You can even put your hand on your leg. It's very easy to just start doing weird things with your legs to push your pelvis forward. See if you can keep that alignment as you breathe. Okay, lower yourself down. Whatever you just had your feet on, wall or furniture, go ahead and stretch back into a half dog or a half lift here. If you're very flexible, try not to fall. You don't want to get your armpits and your ribs to sink. Have the integration through your spine. Thigh bones move back. Okay, and then take a step forward and come up to stand. Now assess, how's your back? Let's go ahead and separate the feet and just have a little bit of ease here so the arms can, flump around. Another way you could do some ease is to just bounce and just find some ease in your spine. Okay, and then we're going to come into this posture holding a strap on our foot. So we're going to start by standing on our right leg. You're going to take the left foot in the strap. Okay. And lift that leg up. Now remember, especially when you're in air, let me show you this from the side. Especially when you're in air, the tendency is to kind of lean your pelvis forward, your thigh bone forward, and your body back. Have that sense of maintaining the length of your spine as you do this posture. Doesn't matter how high up in the air your leg ends up. Okay. All right, let's take the strap into the right hand and twist open to the right. Root through your foot, rise through your spine. Standing leg, thigh bone back, knee soft. Breathe deeply. It's very easy to cross the leg over past the other leg. See if you can keep it in line with the hip. And then come back around. Place that foot down onto the ground and just enjoy your 2 feet. So remember, if this pose starts getting you agitated or your breath starts going away, back away until you have that balance of the stability and ease. So that might mean that your leg only goes this high. Okay, so you don't have to have this giant heighted pose. You go where your body can stabilize. So what I mean by stabilize is you want to root. You want to be able to have that foot root and feel it rise all the way to the crown. You find that energy line through your standing leg. So if you're pushed forward, you're going to break that line. So you need to have that sense of the thigh bone staying back as you do this posture. Your balance will be better if you look at something that doesn't move. Your balance might be better if you don't lift your legs so high. So try a little lower if you're struggling. Find your breath. Find the stability of that standing leg. And then as you're ready, you can start twisting. Soft knee, thigh bone back. Reach through the crown, root through the foot. Soft shoulders. How is your breathing? What's aware right now? What's coming into your awareness? Come back around and bring your foot down onto the ground. So, when we come into these poses that are challenging in various ways, how does your mind react? How does your breath react? Start to pay attention to the subtleties of how you respond to different asana. It gives us so many cues and clues into how we are. 2 feet on the ground. Rise all the way up. Take a deep breath. Bend your knees. Float forward. Relax your back. Enjoy 2 feet. Enjoy being low to the ground. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt. Step the non-dominant foot back. So whatever foot you always bring back first, bring the other one back first. Extend through the spine, dog pose. Deep breaths in. Deep breaths out. Okay, come forward into a plank. Hold yourself steady. You can always put your knees on the ground to support you. Come down safely, however that means to you, and choose any back bend. So, it could be different from Cobra. You can have a different choice here. Breathing into the body. Let your breath rock you. And then exhale and melt. Turn your head one way or the other. Pick up your feet and windshield wiper your knees. Roll over onto your right side. You might need a strap, you might not. Grab onto the front of your left ankle and then take your knee away from your chest. So you're stretching your quads. You can put your arm underneath your head for a pillow. If you need a blanket or a strap, you can do that as well. Tailbone moves toward the knee in the air. Pubic bone lifts up toward the belly button. So we're having a quad stretch here. Your other leg does not have to be straight on the floor. You can relax it. Help your balance out a bit. Enjoy the quad stretch. And release that. And we're going to come over to the other side. So rolling over onto your left. Grab onto the front of your right foot and then stretch it back. So we're having a good quad stretch here. Knee extends away from chest. Tailbone extends away from chest. Pubic bone lifts toward your belly button. And then relax. Come rolling onto your back. Bring your knees to your chest and just rock a little bit. Okay, roll over onto your side. You need a block more than likely. We're going to come into Virasana, and you might need more than one block. So we're sitting with our feet next to us. Now, if this is not possible for you for whatever reason, ankles, knees, hips, if it's your ankles, you can try putting a little bit of a rolled blanket under the top of your ankle to give a little gap there so that you're not in so much extension. And if it's a knee thing, you can try stacking more and more height underneath you. So Virasana is a great pose after some standing poses to just compress and feel the squeeze through your muscles in your legs. Let's pause here for a moment. Let the shoulders relax. If you're not comfortable, choose a different pathway. You can even just sit on a chair. Shoulders are soft, away from the ears. Notice the spine. Are you pushing your chest forward or your ribs forward? Can you feel the grounding on your sit bones and the neutral spine? All right, great. We're going to do eagle arms while we're here across one arm over the other. We're going to do both, so whichever you want to start first. And then lift the elbows, broaden across the collarbones, stretch your shoulders. And then relax. Other side. Other arm on top. And remember, you can always just grab onto your shoulders if the grabbing of your hands is difficult for you. Shoulders down, collarbones broad. Notice the neutral spine in Virasana. All right, and then release. Come forward onto all fours. And just relax. Maybe come up to dog pose if you feel like you need some leg straightening. Yeah, let's all do that. Leg straightening here. Find dog pose. Feel free to bend one knee, then bend the other. Let the heels stretch. All right, we're going to come into pigeon pose. Right leg forward first. If pigeon pose is not available to you, flip over and do reverse pigeon pose. I like support in this posture for sure. I never do it without support anymore. Just that's what works for my body. So you might need support underneath your right sit bone. You might need support under your left thigh. I would like it under both. And then extend the spine. So find your way. So when you come into pigeon pose, assess a few things. First of all, check in with your back leg. Is it sticking way out to the side? Can you keep it in line, your foot in line with your hip? Do you have a sense that the kneecap is straight on the floor instead of turned out? And then with your front leg, decide how close your pubic bone wants to get to how close your foot wants to, your heel wants to get to your pubic bone. Your knee can move out to the right as much as you want or stay more neutral in line with your hip. Find the right placement for your body. And then once you have that long spine, rest the head. I'm resting my head on a block. You can do whatever feels comfortable to you. And just notice, your body. Sometimes you get here and you're like, oh no, I need a little bit of adjustment. So feel free to adjust as you go. Some people like their toes curled under in the back. Some people like their foot straight. Also a choice. Notice your spine. Are you real hunched or can you be neutral? All right, let's go ahead and come out of there. Come around or come back to dog pose. So you choose your pathway here to find yourself coming to the next side. Some people like to lift up to dog pose and straighten your leg a minute. Some people like to just switch. Maybe you have to be on your back for this side, or maybe you were on your back and now you'd like to do regular pigeon pose on this side. So just find the pathway, either reverse pigeon or regular pigeon, your choice. Extend the spine. Find all those things that we found before. Is your back toes curled under or flat? Can you keep your kneecap pointing straight down toward the floor instead of turning in or out? Are your sit bones wide? Do you have enough support to feel comfortable where you're not gripping and guarding to prevent your knee from hurting? Is your knee in a good place? Maybe try adjusting. Bring your knee closer to the midline, further from the midline, your heel close to your pubic bone, further from your pubic bone. Once you get situated, long spine, soft shoulders, support the head if you can. And just allow yourself to melt and breathe. What can release? Be very careful and mindful as you find your way out of this posture. Okay, so maybe another dog pose, maybe you just swing the legs back around, whatever feels good to you. We're all going to come find a blanket to sit up on when you're ready. Okay. Grab your strap one more time. All right, so Janu Shasana, you can support underneath your knee with a block or another blanket if you need to. Hopefully that pigeon pose warmed your hips up enough to be able to be comfortable in this posture. If not, you can always support. You just stick a block right underneath there. Lengthen up through your spine, and let's wrap the strap around your right foot and lengthen forward. So think less about down. We're not trying to round our back. So now the choice is not the same as in that child's pose where you could, posterior, anterior tilt. Everybody find a little anterior tilt. Sit bones are wide, the spine is growing, the femur bone is rooting down, and only go where your body takes you comfortably. So if you find that you're rolling back onto your tailbone and your low back is kind of puffing, see what you can do to neutralize that pelvis. So tip the pelvis forward. This is why sitting on the edge of a blanket is so helpful, because it has a natural, it gives your pelvis a natural ability to find an anterior tilt. Okay, and then come on up. We're going to take the leg out to the side, lift through your spine, okay, and then breathe your way into a side stretch here. So we're not collapsing down, we're finding space. Sometimes I wish I had a sandbag on the top of this thigh as I do this. So sometimes I put my hand there instead of my hand in the air, whatever feels good. Breathing. What's arising in this pose? All right, bring the leg back. Switch. All right, pause for a moment before you do the second side. Make sure your back is in a happy way. You can, of course, support underneath your knee with a block or with a blanket if you feel you need it. Stretch through the big toe mound and the inner heel of that left leg. Reach the spine. Use the strap as a capacity to help you lift the spine up. So the strap isn't necessarily to pull your body toward your foot. It's leverage to help you lift the spine. Just like when we do twists, we have our hand behind our back to help us lift our spine. Let the strap do that job. Okay. And then come forward only to the place where that neutral low back can maintain. So we're keeping the natural curves, breathing well. All right, come on up. Open the leg out to the side. Find your breath. And you can reach the arm up. You can have the hand kind of grounding on your femur bone. Breathing wherever you're going. So try, you can go as far down as you want, but remember, this is, a little precarious on the spine. So we want to ground our two sit bones. We want to have that anchored support before finding our way into extension to one side. All right, now keep the left leg there. Take the right leg out. Two legs are wide now. Hands can be behind you to support you. Hands can come in front of you. Just letting two legs open. So remember, we don't want to feel super strong sensation on the sit bones or the inner knees. Find the sensation in the belly of your muscles. Extend through your heart. A little bit leaned up and back, a little bit leaned up and forward, whatever feels right. All right, and then usually holding on to the inner knees is a really nice way to get out of there. We're going to come down on our back and bring your knees to your chest and rock. So that was a lot for your back. It may not feel like it when you're doing it, but you might notice now when you come onto your back and rock that your spine indeed needs a little soothing. Strong work to hold yourself upright into a long spine. Okay, grab onto your feet, happy baby, or just stay rocking with your knees in, whatever feels good. And then a simple twist, hips lifting over to the right, drop knees over to the left. All right, come back to center, go over to the other side. All right, and then release, and let's melt our way into Shavasana. All right, so as you find, maybe you need today some support underneath your hips with all the work we've kind of did, a couple of poses that I don't teach all that often. So just notice if there's unusual sensations in the body and just feel into that sense of ease. So what do you need to find ease? Do you need support in a different way? Once you have comfort, check in with your temperature. Are you warm? Would you like to grab a blanket and kind of throw it over you? Relax the body, close your eyes, and rest your head. Can you melt your hips? Sometimes I like to put my legs up on a couch. So just see what's best. How are you most supported right now? And if you find, oh, something's not settling, then make a different choice. See what you need. Once you're settled, continually drop into the breath. Practice the art of letting your limbs get heavy, like your bones can just sift down to the bottom of the jar. Just wait. Let's begin to deepen our breathing. Before you move, just settle one more time. Practice the art of dropping your whole body weight down. Become so filled with ease, like all your muscles have softness, kind of losing their tonicity just a bit. And then begin to move in whatever way is best for your body. Let's find our way coming onto our side. Use your arms to help you upright when you're ready. And as you come to a seat, just one more time, what's aware, what's arising in this moment. Offer your practice, share your energy. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.